Well, happy Friday, everybody. We are back. And it is April 21st. So happy April 20th to all of you who celebrate 420. I'm wearing my 420. This is the closest thing I have. So there you go. My son is involved in that. So I like to support my kids, right? So glad to see everybody tonight. I have a dilemma. I need some help again, right? I always ask you guys for help because you're the only people I know that know what I'm talking about for the most part. I made a video about a month ago with my son, and we worked on his car for 11 hours, 10 and a half, 11 hours. And I had my wireless mics, right? And plugged them in the camera. Everything was working good on the mics. Okay. I had the camera volume off, apparently, and disabled, right? So apparently, feeding it into the transmitter with it nowhere to go for that long. Now, I did have to change. I recharged them while we ate dinner, but apparently it fried them. It fried the transmitter, right? So they still work, but they're very, 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 very staticky. So bad you can't use them. So I'm in the market for some new wireless mics, right? I do have a few criteria that I'm looking for because I really, really liked my Godox. Deity is my favorite, okay? They don't make a dual system, and I need it. I need a dual system when my son and I go out and do these little adventures, right? So that's my dilemma, and yeah, I've looked at several. When you watch the videos and stuff, they sound so close that I don't know that there's a best, and yeah, I don't know. So if you guys have any recommendations, I would love to hear all of them. Okay. So let's get the party started. See who's here. There's Scott. Scott's the first to the show. TGIF 1111. And just got home. Okay. So you're an hour, you're on Peter's time zone. Gonna tune in, but might fall into dreamland. Thank goodness for the replay, right? Yeah. Yeah, I understand all about that dreamland. I haven't been getting a lot of that lately, so completely. What's 420? Yeah, right. And there's Lewis saying, "Hi, everyone. Hi, buddy. How you doing?" And there's, can I call you Kyle? Sup Colesley? What'd you think about that hailstorm? Apparently I completely missed it. We did not get the weather that Ryan Hall y'all said we were going to get. At least we didn't here in northeastern Oklahoma. Small Rig makes wireless mics. Yes, they do. So they were one of the ones that I looked at. The receiver, yes, is... So I'm limited in space, okay? I have the M6 cameras and the G7X Mark III. All three of them have flip-up screens, okay? So if in order to see the screen, you have to put the mic on the side, and the small rig, the receiver is bigger, and being on the side, it would cover up the port where the input thing is. I'm explaining that so well. That's so technical. Yes. The jack. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, sometimes I have these moments, and we're not going to talk about those. But so my criteria, and the Deity is my go-to when I'm by myself. If they made a dual, I would buy one in a heartbeat, because I love that. I love their little system. And I have two of them, right? And I tried to hook up both transmitters to one receiver, and you can't do it. Yeah, go figure. All right. So my criteria, let me see if I can show you this. Yes, I can. Okay. So this is the Godox, and this is a charging case. Okay. Now this does not have a battery in it, but one cable, and you charge all 3 pieces. Now you can't recharge them with the, if like this doesn't have a battery in it. So, but these things are about the size, I think they're exactly the size of the Rode Wireless Go 2, and they look very, very similar. But I would like something a little smaller. And like I said, they still work. It's not usable audio anymore. But I want a charging case. I bought aftermarket. I bought this little case because it'll hold all the accessories. Yeah, put it down here where you can see it. It'll hold all the accessories and the mic too. And so now you've got a very nice little setup there. So I would get another Godox, but I would like something a little smaller. So I looked at the DJI. They kind of meet all the requirements, but there was a couple of people that made videos about how they had some problems with them. Same with the Rode. I think the Rode probably, I don't know, they sound so similar when you watch a video, even a comparison video, they all sound so similar. So I'll tell you the 5 that I found was the Rode and the DJI, and one called Comica. It's the Vimo 3, I think, and the Hollyland Lark M1, and the Ceramonic, the Blink 500 Pro X, I think is what it's called. But when you watch these videos, they all sound alike, so I don't know. I just want to be able to either put it on or put a lav on. I've got tons and tons and tons of lav mics, right? So I can lav G and I up if I need to, or I can just clip something on him, and send him off, and off he goes. So distance is not really a huge factor because usually we're within 100, 200 feet of each other, and I think they all cover that distance. So I'm not too concerned about that. But I would like a charging case, and I would like it to come in a case that you can put everything in. So like the DJI, I don't know if you can put a lav on those or not. Now the Rode and the DJI, I think, have onboard recording, which I say I don't need it, but I've had so many audio problems that I probably do need it. Who knows? Kyle says, call me whatever. Okay. The storm only lasted about 5 to 10 minutes, but let's say we got the hail beat out of us. You're closer towards the center of the state, I think, because we didn't get squat. I had told my kids, get ready for this weather, it's coming, and then it didn't, and they're like, you need to quit watching YouTube. Yeah, so there's that. There's Randy. How you doing, bud? Glad to have you back. DJI mic, wireless lav microphone, 250, 820 feet range, 15-hour battery, noise cancellation, microphone. Yeah. Okay. So, do you have the DJI? Because I was kind of leaning towards that one, and I almost pulled the trigger on it, and then I watched a video where the guy was sending it back because he was having issues. But several of the people that I follow use the DJI, and their sound is really good. I love their little Osmo Action camera. So I'm kind of at this point going, okay, well now I'm confused because the the $100 mic sounds just as good as the $300 mic. And there's another little factor in here. So if it was just me, I could see that. But my little daredevil that I travel with is prone to go out on cliffs and crawl under little fissures in rocks to get in caves. And I could see him going out on a cliff and having the mic tumble 300 feet to its demise. So, yeah, there's that. I would not be happy about losing $300. $100, I could live with. You know, if that happened, it would be like, okay, $300, it'd be a little bit tougher pill to swallow. So, you know, there's that. I don't know. It's just, oh, and look who's there. I was just talking about you, bud. Happy Friday, everyone. So there's the daredevil himself, the boy who can walk on water. Yes. And I don't know that any of these are waterproof. So, that's not really a consideration. The Osmo Action actually has a pretty good built-in mic. And for kayaking and stuff like that, it seems to work just fine. But when we go on our little hikes and our little adventures, I don't know if I want to lav him up and have a wire on him or just have like something hooked to his shirt, you know. So I am kind of thinking about that more so because if I'm by myself, I'll just use the Deity. So it sounds really good. And Deity, if you're listening, could you please make a duo? I don't think they're going to because from what I understand, the Pocket's been discontinued. So not 100% sure. Randy says the Rode dual channel system with built-in microphone, 1/8-inch mic inputs, rechargeable batteries. So, and then he's continuing digital and 128-bit encryption. But, you know, the Rode is so big, right? That's my only hang up with the Rode. If I use the Rode, I would definitely lav it up. Because I don't want that big. It's just like the Godox. You know, that thing. Okay, you can put it. It does have a built-in mic. You know, I was going to get the wrong one. You know, there's what would that be? A 30% chance. Okay, so let me see if I can show that to you. Okay, so it does have a built-in mic, but it also has a place for a lav. Okay, my issue is if I put this on somebody, look how big that is. Now, it's not real heavy, but it's big, right? That's very, very noticeable. And the Comica and the Hollyland are like a third of that size. So I'm kind of thinking, I don't know. You know what I'll probably end up doing? I'll probably end up ordering 4, maybe, and just see which one I like better and then send the rest of them back. I'm the return queen. Yeah. Amazon, I have a real love-hate relationship. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I finish that? Oh, yes. Okay. And Randy says $299. Yeah, the Rode's like $300. The DJI is $329. So they're very, very comparable. There was not one, I couldn't find one video where the Saramonic had problems. And I think it's down to like 155. Amazon was doing a deal or something. So, and then the Comica was like 125 and the Hollyland was like 120, I think. So, you know, those are like, is there that much difference between the $120 ones and the $300 ones? I mean, even the Saramonic, that's 150, 55. That's twice the price. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, if I saw something tumbling down the cliff, would I be really upset if I had paid $300? I think I would be. You know, I don't know, but you know, I'm the queen of cheap too, right? So there's always that. There's Peter. Did you get something to eat? Did you go little boy's room? You know, the whole thing. G can tumble, but not the mic. Well, don't know that I want him tumbling 300 feet down a rocky-faced cliff either. So, you know, might have to put a lifeline on both him and the mic, right? Randy says you can, excuse me, you can hook up a lav mic on it also. The Rode, I would definitely have to, because it's as big as the Godox. And that thing is just, you know, who wants that hanging on their shirt? It's just too big. The Saramonic is kind of big. I don't know how big it is. I don't know if it's big like the Rode, or if it's more in line with the DJI size. The Hollyland and the Comica are even smaller than the DJI. And I thought that was... I've seen people do videos with it. I didn't think the DJI was horrible. You know, it's there. You can tell it's there. It's black and it has a green blinking light. So, yeah, you can tell it's there. But the Hollyland and the Comica are both much, much smaller. Now, I don't think either one of those would take a lav mic. So maybe that's why they have to be smaller. Peter says, Sly found a crazy low price on the white Saramonic Duo Pro. So, Peter, after you and I talked, it went down even more. Or maybe it was the next day. It was, I think it was like $199. They had a $30 coupon. Well, the next day they lowered it, or maybe later that night, they lowered it to $155. So, yeah, that is kind of a crazy deal. Amazon has been having a lot of these lightning deals. Sometimes they notify me, sometimes they don't. So I think it depends on if it's on my list. So I try to put as much as I can on my list so that they notify me when hey, we're having a stupid sale. Yeah, that kind of thing. Boya, okay, now I haven't looked at the Boya. But like I said, I've been watching these videos and it is so hard because they all sound the same. I watched one today and it was funny because the guy had I guess on the DJI there's like 3 volume levels and he's messed up and he meant to have it on 2, but he had it on 1. And so it was the quietest of all of them, but they all sound good, you know? So it's like, yeah. Sorry, Randy. Boya wireless lavalier microphone, dual channel lapel cam. I have not looked at the Boya. There was it wasn't Boya, but there was a microphone that started with a B. I can't remember the name of it. And it was supposed to be competition to the Movo. Which that's the first one I started with was the Movo, and it broke. So I tried to send it back, and they were like, oh, it's out of warranty. Yeah, they weren't very happy about it. They weren't nice about it. So I didn't end up getting to send it back. So I'm staying away from Movo, and I think whatever this B one was, it was built on the same quality. So, $100 for the Boya. So the Comica and the Hollyland are both really close to that $100 mark. I have seen some YouTubers wearing the Hollyland. I have not seen anybody wearing the Comica, but it's the newest of the bunch. So maybe nobody's really had time to, you know, I mean, if you have one, why would you need to upgrade unless it sounded bad? But so maybe because it is so new, maybe nobody that I watch has had to upgrade. So, and Kyle's saying hey to Peter. Peter's saying hey back to Kyle. Peter's saying email me, Kyle, and I can chat about. Email me, Kyle. You know, punctuation is it's a good thing. I think he's telling Kyle to email him. I can chat about, pick something out. My email is in the description of all my shows. Yeah. He's quite a talker, Kyle. Yeah. You get him on the phone and you'll be there all night. Randy says, okay, just use the built-in microphone and the camera. Just pass the camera to your son when you're working on the car and vice versa. So, yeah, funny thing about that. So we had both the M6s for different angles, right? We're going to make this really professional. And we had the Osmo Action. Both the cameras were set to disable on the audio. So I didn't even get the sound from the second camera. I didn't realize they were set on disable. So it was totally my fault. And which makes me feel better about the Godox blitzing out because it was my fault, and I will take ownership of that. The only audio that we have is from the Osmo, and it was not on the whole time. It was on, like we tried putting it on the hood, aiming down, and it kept falling on his head. So it was not on very much. But so it's very hard to edit a silent movie. My hats are off to the people in the 20s that used to have to edit these silent movies. You don't know what to clip and what not to clip. And so it has been an editing experience. I thought, it's funny because the last video I had trouble editing was his disc golf, right? And that was 51 files that I got down to, I believe it was under 7 minutes. I did catch the shot of the lifetime where he banked it off the tree and it went in the basket, whatever they call those. But this one takes the cake over that one. I thought I would pull my hair out over that one, and editing a silent video is really quite tough. You don't know what to cut out and what not to cut out, and there's John. How you doing, buddy? Saying hey to everyone, and Kyle says cool. Yeah, well, cool to Peter. I got you. Okay, Peter saying hey, John. I was just watching your videos this morning. Yeah, I don't think he realized that you did Tesla videos, John. So when I explained to him you're the Tesla king, his little ears perked up. You could just see the light in his eyes, and his ears perked up, and his tail started wagging. So my nickname is user error. Every day I forget to do something. Right? It's like there is so much to remember to turn on, and so I took like my whole studio over to his garage. We had the lights set up. We had lights under the car. We had lights lighting up the garage, and he was concerned. We started like at 11 in the morning, I think, and he was concerned what if we didn't get finished before the sun went down. And I'm like, no worries, I've got lights. And when he saw how bright the lights were, he was like, oh, you do have lights. Yeah. Yes, I do. I'm a professional. Yeah. Randy says, I know your pain. So I put Jonathan's and Peter's music to the videos. Yes. That a lot of this is going to have to be to music. And then G is going to have to voice over some of it because some of it needs explaining what he's doing. And so he's just going to have to watch the video. And then I have a Tascam voice recorder, and he can just talk as he's watching it, and then I'll splice them together. So, but I've got to get it down to where he knows what he needs to talk about. So I'm still editing. I'll be editing until I'm 70. We'll get this video out one day, G. John says that, Peter, thank you. I checked out yours too. I've been getting into photography again, having fun. Isn't it fun? It's a blast. I love photography equipment. Okay. I don't know why. It's like a puzzle. You know, will this lens fit this camera? You know, with this lens on, I need to be 12 inches, and with this lens, I need 14 inches. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I love it. It's definitely has sparked my interest, you might say. Peter says, lithium power, baby. Oh, yeah. Even my lawnmower is lithium powered, right? So, my backyard is tiny. It was in, I think, the flashlight video I showed the backyard. It's tiny, tiny, tiny. And I can weed eat it. It's so tiny. And the gates are 20 inches, okay? I have a gate on both sides, and they're both 20 inches. Yeah. And how big is the lawnmower? More than 20 inches. So I had a very small lawnmower, but it was gas powered. And for whatever reason, it won't start now. So I was looking at getting, because I'm tired of weeding this backyard. So I was looking at getting an electric, like that you plug in with a cord, and I can just, and I don't have to weed eat it, right? So I went over and I met my neighbor. Now, y'all know I have this big zero-turn monster for my little bitty yard. Well, my side yard between mine and my neighbor's house is quite small, too. My front yard's huge, okay, but the rest of it's a little bitty. And so for me to mow the side yard, you know that teacup ride at Disney World where you just go round and round and round? That's what it feels like trying to mow this little bitty area with a zero turn, 54-inch zero turn, okay? So I met my new neighbor, and she's disabled. And so I was talking to her son, and I said, hey, if y'all don't mind, I'll just mow your front yard when I mow my little piece, right? And I was explaining the woes of getting a mower into my backyard. And the guy said, well, I'll just lift it over. I have a brick wall all the way around my backyard. And he said, I'll just lift a mower over the backyard and I'll mow your yard when I mow my mom's. Awesome. So now I don't have to buy a lawnmower. I'm quite happy about that. That was like the best news I've heard all day. Yeah. Hey, Carlos, how you doing, buddy? He says, I think you're lithium powered, Peter, right? He's like the little Energizer bunny. He's running on lithium power. And Peter's laughing at him. Yeah. I think so too. So, so that's been my dilemma this week. It seems like every week I get fixated or focused on something, but there's actually a need this time because we are taking a little trip the second week in May, and we're not sure where we're going yet, but it will be an adventure, I'm sure. Anytime I run off with Grant, it's an adventure. So now it's crunch time, right? I've got to have something reasonably quickly so that I can, because otherwise he doesn't stay close enough to me that my lab would pick him up or the camera mic would pick him up. So I do usually put the Osmo on him and he kind of forgets it's there. So it would pick up some sound, but I don't know that it would be a good enough quality, right? So I'm surprised at myself that I only have one set of dual mics, right? That's just very much unlike me. You know, I have two cameras. I have, 15 microphones. It's very unlike me to only have one set of something. So, but here we go. It just, we don't make that many videos together, and I'm usually by myself. So I never even thought about it until, and honestly, when I tested these, when I found out I had no audio, I did test these, and that's when I found out I fried them. I didn't even worry too much about it at the time because, and this was like a month ago, because we didn't have anything coming up, and I didn't, I used my deity for just me. And so I really it didn't even cross my mind too much. And then when it did, it's like, oh, I got to get something quick because we're going on vacation. And so, yes, I've been researching to death. Peter says, I haven't heard it yet. How did the ceremonic sound to you tonight? It sounded fine. It sounded very, very close to the sure. So, I have no complaints about it. How big is it? I guess that's my question. If you were to stick it on your shirt, would it be noticeable like the Godox is pretty big? And how heavy is it? If I put it on like a V-neck t-shirt or something, is it gonna, get the collar out of shape? But no, you sounded good tonight, Peter. So yeah. Peter is goulash powered. I like the Hungarian one, Kyle. Yeah. Peter, I don't know if you know Kyle, but Peter is on a keto diet. And so he likes to eat and he likes his sweets. And so he has found a way to have sweets and stay legal, right? It's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. That's one of the things I like about Peter is anytime there is an obstacle, he will work at it doggedly until he figures a way around it. And he's done that with his diet. And I'm very, very proud of him because he, if something is too hard for me, I tend to just, okay, well, let's work around with something else. But Peter will stay after something until he gets it right. So, my hat's off to you. Kyle says, Hungarian goulash? Well, of course. What other kind is there? And Peter says, yes. Sly has taught me about eggs. So, funny thing, I do not think about my diet at all, okay? I eat what I like, and that's just the way it is. And I'm also horrible in the kitchen, okay? You do not want me in the kitchen. I still have, it's healing, but I still have a cut from the last time, or time before last when I was in the kitchen cutting an avocado. And I just cut right through my thumb or my finger. Peeling potatoes, I usually end up taking a slice of my finger off, so I'm just not good in the kitchen. Excuse me. That probably sounded gurgly. And I don't even remember where I was going. Oh, my diet. So I don't take a lot of time to prep meals, okay? If I go in the kitchen, I want to make something quick and fast because I'm usually hungry, and then I want to eat it right then, okay? So I do make a pretty good steak, okay? So, and I give that about 9 to 12 minutes. So prep time and all, okay? So that's kind of a thing. But so I make a lot of hard-boiled eggs, and I have a little egg keeper thing, so I know which eggs are not hard-boiled and which eggs are. And you can peel an egg and eat it pretty quick, right? So turns out hard-boiled eggs are pretty good for you, right? Turns out that most of the stuff I like, excluding desserts, are pretty good for you. So I like avocados. I'm a huge meat eater. I don't know. So as it turns out, it's just by luck of the draw, because I do not pay any attention to, is this good for your cholesterol? Is this bad? Is this, yeah. I have zero interest in the nutritional value of what I eat. I eat it because it's either convenient or I like it, right? So my theory is, if I'm only going to be here for another however long, I'm going to eat what I want, right? It's worked for me so far. Sub says, me too. I'm a type 2 diabetic. I also take a type of medicine that makes me hungry all the time. Okay. Well, if I had some health concerns, then I may adjust my diet. And I say that tongue in cheek because I may not, in all honesty. Now, if I became diabetic, obviously I would have to cut pop out. And I do have about 1 pop a day. I do like my sweet tea, so, yeah, it would be not a pretty picture in my household if I became diabetic. So let's pray that doesn't happen. Cal says, my grandma, who is half German, by the way, used to make goulash. Oh, there's a German goulash. Nobody cooks goulash like my gram. I did not know there was a German goulash. Does it have sausage in it? I would imagine, maybe. I don't know. What we called goulash at my house was I believe it was a hamburger helper thing that I just added tomatoes to, and voila, it's goulash. It had like the noodles and the hamburger meat, and I think I just doctored it up with some Rotel tomatoes, and that was goulash. So my children probably don't even know what goulash is. I drink 0 sugar pop. My brother is type 1. So I'm not up on the type 1, type 2. I know there's some guys at work that found out they were diabetic and completely changed their diet and lost a ridiculous amount of weight. So my hat is off to people who can do that. I don't know that I could. There's a lot of days where I forget to eat, and which is not good. You're supposed to eat several times a day. And so by the time I remember, it's like 11:30, 12 o'clock, and I'll go in and make a hamburger or something, or eat a hard-boiled egg. So, yeah, me and my eggs. I eat a lot of eggs. I can cook them. They're pretty easy to cook. And I make like scrambled eggs and over medium eggs and hard-boiled eggs. So, yeah, I go through about 18 eggs a week. So I eat a lot of eggs. Say what you said about the Viltrox has lenses for the M-mount. Okay. So Viltrox makes 3 lenses for my M-mount cameras. 23, 33, and 56, and they're all 1.4. And right now, Adorama has the best price on the 33. They're $30 cheaper, so you can buy it direct from Viltrox or B&H, and it's $279, or you can buy it from Adorama for $249. So I'm thinking since I have a 35, but it's a manual focus. And the cameras will obviously do manual focus, but you have to set it in a setting. You have to jump through a few hoops to get it there. And it is a 1.4, and it is the sharpest lens I have, right? It is an amazing lens, but it's a manual focus. So I took it with me the other day to do some portrait work, and lo and behold, I couldn't figure out how to get the camera into where it would read the manual focus lens. So I ended up using the 24 millimeter, I think. But, and they turned out okay. But they would have been better with the 35. So what I'm thinking is, if I get the 33, That's not too much difference than the 35. And then you multiply that by 1.6, whatever. That might not be a bad lens to have. I don't know, Peter. What do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Don't need it, do need it? What do you think? Kyle says she put tomatoes in it. I know that much. Don't know if it was German. Yeah, I am, like I said, not a cook, so I really don't know what goulash is. I think at the time it was just whatever you had, you put in a big pot and you made goulash. They just called it goulash. So it was kind of like I think, I don't know, I'm not sure. I said I'm not up on the history of cooking. Peter probably knows. Kyle says, I take pills. My brother is on insulin pump and he eats once a day around 4 o'clock. Okay. So type 1 is where you have to take the insulin, and type 2 is you can take medicine. Okay. So yeah, that's, I don't think I would do well with either. Right? My daughter drinks that zero sugar stuff, and I really don't care for it too much. So it might get me off pop. Who knows? But yeah, let's just pray that doesn't, I don't have to go there. So, so far, so yeah, I've got some organ issues, but my sugar levels and everything, or cholesterol, everything's really good. So, Peter says thumbs up. Okay. Well, I'll probably, I probably should go ahead and get that while it's on sale, huh? $2.49 for a lens is pretty cheap. And it comes with, I think the 33 comes with a lens hood. Why does Viltrox make their lenses silver? Can anybody tell me? Anybody answer me that question? I'm not like totally against a silver lens, but I'd prefer a black one, I think. My cameras are black and silver, so it would kind of go with them, but really? Can we not make these in black? And they don't come in black. They only come in silver. So I thought that was strange. And perhaps there's a reason why that I'm just not aware of, because I am somewhat ignorant on a lot of photography issues. Kyle says, it is punishment for me eating whatever I want and not taking care of myself. I think in talking to these guys at work that found out they were diabetic, it's hereditary. So I think it's just in your genes, bud. I don't think it's an attack on you personally. I think it's just what your mom and dad gave you. Yeah. I happen to, now, aneurysms run in my family, okay? So we, like my mom, my grandparents, everybody was healthy as a horse, but aneurysms got them. So, every family has something, right? Peter says, the Viltrox lens Randy got me is unique. If you turn the focus ring, the camera automatically goes to manual. Really? And if you press or touch the shutter, it goes back to autofocus again. Okay. On which camera? I don't. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I was not paying attention to which camera you had the Viltrox on. I know you're gonna shoot me. I know it's coming. That's okay. I feel it. I already tell you're going, Sly. Really? I just made a whole video about it. I know. I get it. Peter says silver lenses are retro and to go with older silver camera bodies. Well, that was one of the things when I was, because the M6 comes in either a black or a black and silver. And my old, what was it? The Elan 2 was black and silver. And that's kind of why I went with the black and silver. right? So there is some validity to that. But the lenses weren't silver, were they? I don't have any silver lenses. They're all black. But I don't think it really would matter. I mean, it would just draw more attention, I guess. You can put black gaff tape around it, I guess. I don't know. No offense, Peter, but why are we the only ones talking? I feel kind of bad. Don't feel bad. No, is it? Because Scott went to sleep, okay? Carlos is a lurker. He's here. He's here. You can feel him sitting on the couch. He's got his legs crossed. He's got a drink of tea or water in his hand. He's here, okay? He's just lurking. So they're here. They're just lurking. They come in and they give me a thumbs up, and then they just kind of sit back and read a magazine and kind of listen to me a little bit. And, they're here. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. And I appreciate you making comments and keeping things rolling. So I'm glad you're here, Kyle. Peter says, don't worry, Kyle. Sly can easily shut us up. She has that mom talent, right? So, I appreciate it. I'm really glad you're here, Kyle. So don't feel bad at all. Peter says to answer the which camera, the Nikon. I kind of thought that, but I didn't want to sound even more dumber. So yeah, thank you for the clarification. So on the M6s, when I put a manual lens on it, you have to change 2 or 3 things in the menu for it to pick it up. So, and under pressure, I don't do it often enough. And so under pressure, it was a complete fail. Yeah. So, see, there's Randy. Randy snoozes too. Okay. And he's kind of a quiet guy too. So, there's that. See? Hey, Kyle, be quiet. I've tried to sleep. Yeah. So Randy sits, he has this really nice recliner, and he gets all comfortable and cozy, and he kind of dozes off a little bit. And then he'll wake up, and if I get really loud, he'll, kind of bolt awake, and he'll come in and say something, and then he kind of goes off and snoozes again, and it's okay. It's they're family. So it's cool. Kyle says, diabetes runs on both sides of my family. See, it's a gift from your parents, okay? It's one of those everlasting gifts that we pass down to our children. I have good genes. I think my children probably have good genes. So I had to screw them up otherwise, okay? Because, it's not going to be a sickness. I had to mess with their minds, and which I'm pretty sure they would agree with me. Actually, Peter says, Kyle, Randy is a Nikon king. He is. Randy he also has a Canon and a Sony, but I think he has like 3 or 4 or 5 Nikons. So he's kind of like, it seems like each of us have our little thing, okay? Excluding Peter. Peter's just like all over the board, and he'll deal with anything, right? Nikon, I think the only thing he doesn't have right now is a Fuji. But he has an Olympus. He has a Canon. He has the Nikons. He has a Sony. So Peter's all over the board. But the rest of us, Charles is 100% Fujifilm, okay? And Fuji makes a wonderful camera. They have all kinds of dials on them, and I don't know, they look really cool. I wouldn't have a clue what to do with the Fuji camera, right? I'm a Canon. I haven't, yeah, I have. I started out in the Canon ecosystem and have pretty much stayed in the Canon ecosystem. Thought I was going to jump ship and go to Sony because of the flip up screen, which I adore. I like it so much better than the flip out. But then Canon came out with these M6s, and they have a flip up screen. So I'm a Canon girl. I'm trying to think. Lewis, Mr. Camera Junkie, is a Sony guy. So each one of us kind of brings a different thing to the table, except Peter. Peter brings it all to the table. Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you got a chuckle out of that. Randy is a super guy. He put out like 5 videos. Was it 5? Or maybe more. I don't know. He puts out a lot of videos. See, what did I tell you? I told you Carlos was lurking. I told you. I knew it. I could feel it. I can feel you guys through the camera, right? So Kyle, you and Peter are not the only 2 in here. I think I don't know where it says how many people are in here, but 9. There's 9 people in here. They lurk and they sleep and they doze. We're old. We doze. Is that a type of car, Carlos? They lurking. It's a new word, Peter. It's a lurking. That sounds like an Oklahoma word. It's a lurking. I'm a lurking. So Kyle says, so since I'm a diabetic, I technically only need to eat when my blood sugar is low, so I drink Coke Zero. Okay. My brother does the same thing, except he drinks Monsters. No, wait a minute. Don't Monsters have an incredible amount of sugar? Or I guess they have the Monster Zero thing. Yeah, okay. Okay. I, too, like to partake in an occasional Monster. I do not like the Zero. So, it's a good thing I'm not diabetic. Yes, I would seriously be in trouble. I want one of the Nikon's mirrorless cameras, but I don't know what to get. I also want a Fujifilm X Pro 3, I think it's called, and a Sony and a Lumix and a Leica. Well, are you coming into an inheritance, Kyle? That's a lot of money on your list right there. If you watch Mr. Camera Junkie, he's on Saturday night at 10 o'clock our time, I think. I think it's 10 o'clock. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lewis. But he knows everything about Sony's. So if you're interested in a Sony, check out Mr. Camera Junkie. If you're interested in a Fujifilm, check out Charles. And Kyle, everybody I have met on YouTube has been so eager and willing to help. None of these guys will turn you away. They would be more than happy to answer your questions. So if you have any on a Canon, I might be able to help you, maybe not, but definitely go to the source, And there he is right there. It says, Dad duties while I listen. Yeah. Lewis has is he 6 now? 6 or 7-year-old son. I think Aiden is 6 and Liam is 7. I think. I could be wrong. And he's a single dad. So, yeah, he has dad duties. Aiden is the cutest little boy ever. Ever. I bought me a Larkin. Oh, that's funny. Carlos says, maybe we sell our M6s for a ZVE1 Sly. I don't think so. Doesn't the ZVE1 have a flip out screen? Now that I've gotten used to the flip up, I'm going to have a really hard time going back to the flip out because my G7X flips up, the Sony flips out, but I've found that it's my overhead cam because I'd much rather be looking at a flip up screen. So that's just me. Peter says there was a Studebaker again, spelling. There was a Studebaker lark. Or a Studebaker lark. Okay, I think he meant Studebaker. And Kyle says, you could say that. And see, Randy's up again. Kyle, go to your local camera store and try out some different cameras and get info on what they prefer. Or Best Buy and try out what they have to sell, or just watch YouTube. So I went to Best Buy. Somebody was saying that I should be getting into the R line. And so I went to Best Buy to look at the R cameras. Well, I went in to get something else, but while I was there, I looked at the R cameras, and the R10 and the R7 are both bigger than the M6. That they're tethered to the thing, so you can't really test the weight, because when you pick it up, you're picking up this whole tether thing. But in Oklahoma City, Bedford Camera is a fantastic camera store. And the people there are super, super nice. So they're kind of like the people on YouTube. They're just really friendly and no judgment. And, you just go in and they have, it seems like they didn't have as big a selection as Best Buy. They had like more accessories and, but they had a lot of cameras, don't get me wrong, but yeah, just go in and just start, getting close and personal with them. Just pick them up, feel how they feel in your hand. 'Cause the best camera is the one that you're going to use. Right. So I don't know how long you've been with us, Kyle. But I started with a 90D and then went with an 80D, and those were the biggest, heaviest cameras ever. And for what I like to do, I need something that's light and portable, and there's no way that I could take a 90D out on my little tripod. I could hold it up for maybe 15 seconds, and then you would see the camera start dropping, right? So the M6 Mark II is the perfect camera for me, okay? Now, I'm not very big. I'm 5'4". My daughter measured me. I'm actually shrinking. But so it's more like 5'3" now. But I don't have the strength that my son, who is 6 feet tall, he could carry around a 90D all day and just and be fine. But I'm not that big. So get a camera that feels right for you. And these M6s, they fit my hand. They're lightweight. I wouldn't recommend them for you because you're bigger than I am. But get something that fits you. And I think the R7, do you have a camera now, or are you using your phone? If you're wanting to go the camera route, the Sony ZV E10, I think. I could be 100% off on that. Randy has one. Peter has one. That would probably be a good camera. Okay. It's an interchangeable lens camera, and if you want to go the Canon route, probably the R7 would be a good camera. Fujifilm, from what Charles says, Charles, help me out here, buddy. There's an XT5, which is the latest and greatest, but I think there's one with an HS or something that he likes better. So it just depends on which one, but once you get into one ecosystem and you get lenses for that camera, it's expensive to jump ship unless you get adapters. So bear that in mind. Peter says, you can buy one of those cameras, Carlos, if you say the name correctly. Yeah, see? That's where I was struggling. Sony's names make no sense to me whatsoever. Canon's make a little bit of sense, not a lot. And Fuji just seems to go from up. They just start counting, and every newer model is just like 4 to 5. So the next one will probably be 6. Yeah, not hard. So what is it, Peter? Since, we're failing here miserably. Carlos says, that's right, Peter. The Lark was a super cool car. Oh, the Studebaker Lark. Okay. I wasn't around when Studebakers were made. Kind of proud of that now. It is pronounced Nikon, not Nikon. Okay. So Nikon. He will be 7 in December. Okay. So he's 6. He is just the cutest little boy ever. I adore that little boy. Kyle says, my next Canon will be one of their flagship cameras. Okay. So big. Okay. The Peter's R6 is a big camera. When he holds it in his hands, I can tell just by looking that it's got a little heft to it, right? So, but like I said, it's the whole. I'm engrossed in this M system to the point where, I have the adapters for the EF and the FS lenses, and that's fine, but I really, really, really like these cameras, and I have not felt that way about a camera since my Elan 2, which was a film camera. So that's why I don't really mind buying M lenses, because I have an M camera, and I don't plan on changing anytime soon. Okay, so but that's not a good choice for everybody. Okay, so you kind of have to think. Did y'all hear that motorcycle? I don't have the crisp audio turned on, so so the microphone thing is a whole nother issue that we won't even get into. But so I don't have the crisp audio turned on because it lowers the sound. So it does take out the excess, but it also lowers the sound. And so anyway, we'll just have to listen to motorcycles at 11:30 at night. Oh, it's 11:30. Wow. Peter says Aiden is 6 and Liam is 8. Me, I want to be 10 again. Oh, I would not want to be 10 again. Maybe 30. Maybe 30. I don't know. Well, at 10, you didn't have to pay any bills, right? So there's that. And somebody cooked your meals for you, so there's that. So maybe 10's not a bad idea. Lewis says, flip up or flip out, look at the lens and not the screens. This is true, right? I think it's more, especially when you're holding it, you're an arm's distance away. So it is obvious if you're looking above the lens or off to the side. It's pretty obvious either way. As you get the camera further away, it's not as obvious. But in either case, you're talking about a 3-inch screen. So how good can you really see it if it's fairly far away? So I don't know. It's just, and there's been a lot of people complain that the flip up blocks the hot shoe. I just put a cold shoe, little cage thing on them, and so it doesn't bother me a bit. But the camera systems, and I'm not sure if the DJI is big like the Small Rig, because I really like the products that I've gotten from Small Rig, and so I did look into their microphone, but where I have to put it on the camera, it would block the door to the jack. So, I look like I'm talking to deaf people. I'm gonna put my hands down and I'm not gonna use them much. Like that's gonna happen. Randy says the RX 100 VA. Is it just V? Randy's rarely wrong, so it's probably VA. Is a great vlogging camera at HD. Great vlogging camera at HD. Lousy battery life. That's why we have 3 batteries. So the RX 100 was one of the ones. I believe it was the RX 105. Isn't that the one that they do, like there's a 1, a 2, like the original, and then a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, all the way up to 7? I think that's the one I was looking at. It's been a minute, so I could be completely wrong, but I think it was an RX 100. John says, B&H has figured out the secret to my wallet. It's an affliction. So, John, I don't know if you caught Peter's show or not, but he is affiliated now with Adorama, okay? Which I'm ecstatic over because Adorama has better sales than B&H. So pretty much anything that I have bought from Adorama, I have looked to see if B&H has the same price and almost every time, because, you know, I buy sale stuff, but almost every time Adorama is cheaper. And so the lens that we've been talking about tonight, this Viltrox, is $30 cheaper on Adorama site than it is. It's $249 on Adorama. It's $279 on Viltrox, Amazon, and B&H. So you might check out Adorama. They actually have been, when you sign up, when you buy something, you are an instant VIP, and then when you buy something again, they give you like free shipping and just these like VIP points. And so I don't, B&H really didn't do that, I don't think. But, so I'm ecstatic because now anytime I buy something from Adorama, I can go through Peter's link, and yeah, so it makes me happy. I know it doesn't make him real happy, but it makes me happy. As long as my camera doesn't have a yoke, I'm fine. Tesla joke. Yeah, I get it. Yoke, steering wheel, right? John says that made me chuckle, right? Oh, okay. So Kyle, you have an R7 right now. That's a fantastic camera. It has the flip out screen, but it's a fantastic camera. I think, I was trying to think, Randy, do you have the R7 or the R10? I don't remember, but somebody else has. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Randy has the R7 and the R10. And he likes the R10. Okay. Why? I thought the R7 was had the more bells and whistles on it. Kyle. I can hear him just shaking his head. You have a great camera, dude. Yep, you do. You really do. Oh, Kyle is one of us. He collects cameras. Hello. No wonder you fit in so well. So typically I buy things in pairs. Okay. I don't mean to, but it just turns out that way. I bought no, actually I was looking at 2 cameras, the G7X Mark III and the Sony ZV-1, I think. It's the one that's comparable to the G7X. And John graciously, when I put on, I think I was on Lewis's show, that I was in the market for a camera, and he graciously offered to sell me his. And so within 2 days maybe, or that day or the next or something really, really close to that, Canon put the G7X Mark III on sale. So I had to have it too. Well, then, because I really thought I could get by with just compact cameras. And then I got to missing the interchangeable lens cameras. And so I did my little research that I do, and I came up with the M6, and I bought one of those. And within 3 weeks, Canon put it on sale. And I had to buy another one, right? Because it was on sale. Well, now I'm glad I did, because I haven't used this at all tonight. But guess what? I have another one right here. So I don't really think to turn to this one very often, and I probably need to somehow set up where they rotate or something. But that's beyond my level right now, right? So I'll get there. I constantly learning this stuff, and it'll come. But I just completely forget that it's there. So yes, I understand where you're coming from, Kyle. You guys should see my vintage camera collection. Now, I didn't start this like back in the film days. I had one camera, right, at a time. So, we started with the, I'm trying to think what we started. You remember the old disc cameras where the film was, you put a disc in and it was like 12 or 15, maybe it was 15 exposure, but you put the disc in the camera. And I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. But I only had one disc camera, and then I got my Elan 2, and I only had one film camera. So, I don't know where this growth thing that I have to have two of everything has come from. But in this wireless mic case, if I'd had two, I wouldn't be in a dilemma, right? So, Peter's saying, when will you put up your videos, Kyle? Kyle has some videos up, Peter. And I don't remember if they're recent or not. I think they kind of are. I honestly, Kyle, I am so sorry. I don't remember. But I did kind of look you up, and he does have some videos up. And Peter says, ooh, a vintage camera channel sounds good. So if you've watched Peter's show very long, he has his, I think it was his dad's old, it was Hasselblad is how you say it? I don't know how you say it. But he has a vintage camera in his background. And it's really cool looking. So, yes. So when you make your videos, put your vintage cameras in the background so people can see them. Yes, see, I got some up. Yes, he does. And Carlos says, get on that, Peter. Right? I'm sure Peter has a lot of vintage cameras hanging out as well. Randy says, I got the original Mark V version. Automatic focus 1.8 to 2.8 zoom range is 8 to 25 for the 1-inch sensor. Times it by 3, and it's 24 to 70 for the full frame equivalent. Okay. The original Mark V. Okay. So is that the one that they now are up to 7? I think. But what I've heard is that the 5 is the best of the bunch. That even though they made the 6 and the 7, the 5 is still the king. So, the only thing vintage over here, Carlos, is me. I can relate to that. So, question for all you guys that are in here. Has anybody put a comment up tonight that I have not read? Because I'm starring them all and I'm reading them in order. So if someone has put up a comment and I didn't read it, then it's not here. So as a little test, Peter, if you would you put something in there with a word that you know will get blocked and just see if it comes through? Because I'm curious. I mean, Carlos had made a comment on one of my videos, and it was a very complimentary comment. He put "nailed it, Sly," and YouTube picked that up and put it in the no-no pile. And so I had to go and retrieve it and approve it so it could get published. So I don't know if they do that on the live or not, and it would be a nice little test while we're just hanging out to let me know. So Peter, put something in that you're not supposed to put in, okay? Randy says, RX 100 Mark 7 has a longer range, and the ZV1 replaced with no time limits. The R10 weighs less. The R10 weighs less. RX 100 Mark 5 weighs less. RX 100. Okay. So when I was at Best Buy, the R10 is still bigger than my M6s. So until they make a very, very small R camera, I'm staying with the M's. Carlos says, only makes sense that a vintage guy should be allowed to review a vintage camera, Peter. Get going. Get going, Peter. I think he's telling Kyle that you're just too young to be vintage. I got an old Polaroid Edwin Land brown rectangular cameras with that accordion lens. Okay. I think that's the one that the lens, like, it's like starts big here and then it tapers down and it's accordion. If I'm thinking about the right one. I lost motivations to make videos. Nobody's watching them. It doesn't matter. Okay? If you're enjoying yourself and you're having fun doing it, it doesn't matter if 4 people watch it. Okay? You know, I have less than 200 subscribers, Kyle. I've been doing this for 2 years. So it doesn't matter. I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So, and I have made some remarkable friends through YouTube. So don't worry about how many people are watching your videos. And some of the videos that I thought that nobody would watch, nobody would want to watch these videos. I have a lawnmower video the day I got my zero turn, and it's like my #1 video. This old lady mowing the yard. Who wants to watch that? Well, apparently a lot of people, right? And then videos that I think will do really, really good, and I've researched, and yet nobody watches them. And that's okay. It's not about that. It's about the fact that I'm having fun. I'm having a blast doing this. And if you're enjoying what you're doing, don't care if nobody else is watching. But I have a feeling that if you would start churning out videos, you might be surprised. Like I said, there's been a couple of mine. I did one where my son and I put a radio in his 4Runner. Okay? We have a camera setting up in the back seat. So basically, you get my shoulder, you get Grant's shoulder, and the radio. And our shoulders are in the shot the whole time. Okay? It is a horrible video. And it took way longer than it should have, and it was ridiculously hot outside. It's a horrible video. And that's my #2 video, right? So who knows? But if you're enjoying what you're doing, it's going to come through. So just keep doing it. And don't worry about who's watching it, or do it for Kyle, okay? And the rest of us will fall in line. Peter says, okay, I just put something naughty in the comments. It should not appear. Thank you. We'll see if it does. So far, it has not. Kyle says, I don't even have 50 videos. My GoPro Hero 10 update rant is my #1 video. See? And I'm sure you didn't think that would be a winner, right? But you'd be surprised. And it's amazing what people like to watch on YouTube. There's a thing called clickbait, and people use that a lot. And it's like, we found a body or something, and it turns out it'll be like, a dead squirrel or something. It's something stupid, but And Carlos says, exactly, Sly. Record videos for yourself first. Key is to have fun and enjoy the process. Yep, that's right. And if you're having fun, other people will pick up on your energy, right? So Randy says, I like watching your videos because I am watching your lurking neighbors, right? I'm hugely surprised that I haven't had anybody at the window tonight, right? Because I turned everything on. Well, actually, I was kind of late because Grant brought dinner over, so I didn't have everything. Usually, I come in here about 7. I turn the lights on, and start getting ready, and so inevitably somebody will come to the window and act like, because they think I'm live then. So it's just ridiculous. Yeah. Only in my neighborhood, Making videos can also be therapeutic. Okay. So apparently your comment did not come through. Is that what I'm picking up on? Because you said you put something naughty in the comments, and the next thing that is on here, Peter, is making videos can also be therapeutic. So I'm assuming it did not come through. And Kyle says, sorry, I meant subscribers. It doesn't matter. That when I started and I reached 25, I was elated. I remember it was like, I'm at 25. I've got 25 people subscribed to my channel. I was so happy. And then it was like, okay. And honestly, I don't put up very many videos. I do it when I have time. For the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've been editing this silent movie. Yeah, well, and I'll get there. But, and I do miss it. I did the lens comparison one. And like I said, I'll probably end up buying at least 4 wireless mics. So I'll probably do a comparison. But I don't really put out that many videos, and that's why I haven't been growing. You'll notice if people put out a lot of videos, like Randy has hundreds of videos, and he started way after me, and he has more subscribers than I do. So, but it's not about that. It's about you enjoying yourself, right? And this is fun. This is actually fun to do. So, and there's a huge value for me in that I have made so many friends through YouTube that that's just, I never, this little guy in Florida, Miami, Florida, I took a trip a year and a half ago, I think. I was supposed to go to Ocala, Florida. Is that how you say it? Ocala? I think. I don't know. It's anyway, somewhere up north in Florida. And that got canceled. And I'm like, you know what? I've got the vacation time off. I'm going to go. I'm going to go somewhere. And so I took a friend with me, and we drove all the way down to Miami. And I got to meet 2 YouTubers, right? And it was absolutely wonderful. And it was a very short trip. It was just down there and back. But I bought a kayak on the way back. I mean, those kind of things are memorable, right? So it's not about how many subscribers you have or how many videos you can put out. It's about the relationships that you build along the way. So do it for yourself, Kyle. Do it for us. you have become part of our family, and we'll support you any way we can. So, just, do it for yourself. Kyle says, clickbaiting needs to stop. If I'm ever president, I'm going to make clickbaiting punishable by death. It's just like the Coke ads, and you watch this beautiful girl walking across the beach drinking a Coca-Cola, and she would never drink Coke. It's probably got tea in it, But Peter says, correct. If my comment came through, everyone would have blown up. No one saw it, and I didn't even say a cuss word either. So, yeah, that's kind of what I thought. There are so many words on that word list that are that can be used in everyday language that don't mean anything bad, but in the wrong context, they do mean something bad. So, I think YouTube's just having a fun time. Peter says, yes, Ocala, Cindy's hometown. You said it right. Oh, well, it's been a minute. Kyle says, I also like clowns, by the way. Red Skeleton is my favorite. Should I start a clown channel? You know what? That would go over really, really good. There is a fellow in Florida. His channel is called Omar Gosh TV. Okay. I think it's all one word. Omar Gosh TV. And, he bought a in Florida, they have like these mobile homes or camping trailers. I guess they're campers, I think. But anyway, there'll be like a park, and people live in them full time. And kind of like we have mobile home parks here, they have like travel trailer parks there, and people live in them. And so he made one, and it has all kinds of clowns in it, and it's called the Clown Cottage, and it's on Airbnb, and you can actually go stay in it. And he has people just are in love with the Clown Cottage, because some people, they either love them or hate them. They're either scared to death of clowns or they love them. So I don't know. I've never met a clown I didn't like, right? Randy says, you pick a subject, study it, and then give the plus and minus about it, and then go on a rant. People love it. I've been talking to myself for years. YouTube lets me share my thoughts, and people love it, right? So it's not about subscribers or how popular you become. It's about what are you interested in, okay? And then if you just put that out there, people will follow. Now, you know how few females are in the photography thing, which is when I was doing the microphones, one of the reasons I had such a hard time picking one out, all the videos are done by men. Well, I don't have a man's voice. So very, very infinitesimal amount are done by women. And so, and this is just what I like. I like cameras. I like microphones. I like lighting. I like all the gadgets that go with it. But I'm an anomaly because it's definitely a man's world, right? So trying to find women in the photography field, there's just not very many. And and the photography field as a whole is not the most popular thing on the planet right now, because everybody has a cell phone, and you've got a camera on your cell phone, right? So if someone was starting and they wanted to like be this huge YouTube sensation, photography channels are probably not the way to go. Now the following that they do have is loyal, but it's not that big. But if you did something on like clowns, I think that's probably universal and it's universal enough that you would get followers, right? That's just my 2 cents. Here's my rant. Great advice, says Carlos to Randy. Randy's giving a thumbs up. And Peter's giving a good one, Randy. Yep. So it is like 12 o'clock. So we've gone like an hour and a half, which I really did not mean to do. Thank you guys so much for coming in. And Carlos, were you here when I was asking for recommendations on a wireless mic? Because besides Randy, nobody has said anything. Now, Peter, I know you like the Ceremonic, so I got that. Kyle, do you have the small rig wireless mic by any chance? I didn't ask you. Sorry. So I think, unless somebody stops me, I'll probably get the Ceremonic and the what's the little one? The Hollyland, and there was a third one in there. Oh, the Comica, or the DJI. Okay. I think the Rode is just too much like the Godox. It's too big and boxy, and then I'll probably do a little test. But honestly, to me, when I watch these YouTube videos that compare the different wireless mics, they all sound the same. They're like, okay, well, this is the Rode and I'm changing now. And now I'm on the DJI. It sounds just like the Rode. I mean, you can see that they physically have put on a different thing, but it sounds the same. So yeah, there's that. So anyway, and Kyle says not yet. Okay. Well, I'll let you know what I find out. And I probably, out of 4, I'll probably keep 2 just to have a backup. But I do want to hear how they sound with my voice and my camera, because something that I've learned in going through, I think I've gone through 4 or 5 interfaces, they all make it sound a little bit different. So when I plug it into the camera, now the 2 cameras should be identical, or as close as you can get, because they're identical cameras. But how does it sound with my voice, right? Maybe I do need to spend $300 on a wireless mic. I don't know. We'll find out. So, guys, want me to take a pic of the Sarah before you order one? You might put it on your shirt, maybe, or something, like you would clip it, like not with the lav, like you would clip on the whole thing. Because if it's big, like the Godox, I might steer away from it. I really want something little, because the more I think about it, I think I would just like to plug something on Grant. Just clip something on it. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. He's got that beard, so I don't want the beard rustling on the mic. But Lewis, you have a beard. Do you ever wear a wireless mic? And does the beard brush up against the mic? Inquiring minds want to know. Lewis probably went to sleep with Aiden, but I'll ask him tomorrow night. So anyway, Kyle says these wireless microphones are like an audio steak with no seasoning. Right? But when you're out and about, you kind of don't have a choice. So the mic on the camera, it's audio. That's about the best I can say. If the wireless mics are like here, the camera mic is down here. So in the silent movie that I've been editing, it would have been nice to have the onboard mic, right? Because at least I would have had something. and I maybe could have played with it until I got something passable. But yeah, so I need to put something. I need to have a dual system where I can put one on me and one on G, and kind of go from there. So Carlos says definitely feeling some gas after this live stream, right? Yeah, I know. It's always, I have a problem, Carlos. No, I don't. I just like buying stuff. I don't know if you know what a NAS is, but I'm planning on getting one of those before I buy a new camera. I do not. A NAS. N-A-S. I do not know what that is. I'm sorry for my ignorance. I don't even want to guess on that one. So, for your network, Kyle. There's Lewis. Yes and no. I have used lavaliers, but I had them under clothes, so no beard noise. Okay. So if I just pin a lav on him, like on his collar, I'm afraid the beard is going to rustle it. So I may need to go with something that does have a lav. So there's that. Hadn't thought about the beard. Yep. Gotta, get all these contingencies going. Kyle says, I also need to clean my studio. Maybe I should make a video. Yes, you should. Right? I'm going to get on your case just like I do Lazuka, who I haven't seen in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to have to send him a message because I'm kind of worried about him. Yes. Lazuka and I started out kind of in competition with one another, and he actually beat me to the punch. But so any encouragement that I can give you, I'd be more than happy to, right? And we will all watch your videos. Peter says, Sly, it's a network hard drive that all your computers can use the drive. Okay. It's a network hard drive that all your computers can use the drive. So the PC and the Mac can both use the hard drive? Really? Didn't know they made something like that. Network attached storage. Really? Okay. Thank you for enlightening me, Kyle. I have 3 external drives for the Mac because I have a tendency to fill it up. So, yeah. So if there was one that could handle both computers, that you got me thinking now, buddy. John says, I use the Synology NAS 4-bay with 4 16 terabyte holy cow, 16 terabyte drives times 4. That's like 48 terabytes. No, that's 64 terabytes. Holy cow. I love being able to pull up files when not home and having vids back up safely. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, so now I'm going to have to research this NAS. Thank you, Kyle. I think you just spent some more of my money. It's okay. I'm pretty sure everybody in here has spent some of my money at some point or another. Starting with this guy. Peter, yes, they both can use it. It does not plug into a computer, but plugs directly into the network instead. Okay. I'll be looking this up. Thank you. Okay. See, I learned something tonight. That's one of the things I love about doing this is I learn something from you guys every single time I watch you guys. Right? So, yes, Peter, take a picture on your shirt. Actually, you know what? I know you will feel undressed, but take a picture of it on your t-shirt so I can see if it sags the t-shirt down. Okay. And send that to me. So I do kind of want to see how big they are, but I may have to, I'll get them in here and I'll test them out. I'm not worried about me. I don't have a beard. I can move my head all day and nothing's going to rustle, but I do have to consider his beard it's fairly reasonably long. So it would hit the microphone, I think. I have never paid attention if his beard touches his shirt. I don't know. I don't know enough about beards. Anyway, Kyle says the NAS isn't the expensive part you need to worry about. It's the HDD you need to worry about, the hard drive. Okay. Now, I do know this. The HDDs do not run as fast as SDDs. SSDs? It's either SSD or SDD. I don't remember. But anyway, that's the fast one, and the HDD is the slow one. So, okay, I'm going to have to research this. I can tell this is coming. But anyway, guys, we are past the witching hour, and this witch has to go to bed. So I hugely, hugely appreciate all you guys coming in and spending your Friday evening with me. And thank you for teaching me something. You've given me something else to look at. But truly, if you do have any recommendations on wireless systems, hit me up, because they all sound exactly the same to me. So I'm thinking, if the $100 one sounds like the $300 one, why would you spend 3 times the money, right? And then risk losing it. So I probably will end up with something in the $100 range, to be honest. So, but anyway, love you guys, and I will see all of you next Friday. Thank you so much for coming in. See ya. Have a great week, everybody.